Elena Bradley and I'm a server at Hawksmoor.
Food has been the love of my life since I can remember, and to have a job where you can work around food all the time is just a dream. So I have a Catalan mum and I'm half Catalan, so growing up Spanish food was always the huge thing in the house. But I also have quite good family connections in food. My godfather's a really amazing chef. So I've always grown up as a kid being able to go and eat in really nice places. And I think because of that, I have such a respect for the industry. When I was 14, I went to work in an events venue. So it was like catering for weddings and big stuff like that. On my first day, I was given a full tray of champagne flutes and was told to go and do this reception, and I dropped every single one. All smashed on the floor, absolutely horrendous, had to go and have a small cry. And then continued. I mean, I think I was behind the bar way younger than I should have been, but you know, it's the north. I moved here for uni when I was 18, and then I got a job in Randall and Oban, and that was my first job being on the floor. And I worked there for about a year, and then I went to Tast on King Street, and then I worked there for about a year and a half, and then I came here at Hawksmoor. I got the job here from eating. And I couldn't eat that often because I'm a student, so I couldn't afford it. But from eating, it was just the consistency of service. You would always get perfect service, but not in a stuffy way. Like, I always used to look at the staff from Hawksmoor when I'd go out in other hospitality jobs and be really envious and think, God, they all look so happy. Like, how dare they be that happy? You're made to feel like an adult, which in a lot of other places, being, you know, in my very early 20s and being a girl, that's not something you're always given, the privilege of being taken seriously. Resilience is probably the first thing that you're taught if you are in this industry for at least a couple of years. Optimism, definitely. Being able to pull a smile from absolutely nowhere. I think that's probably the two biggest things, being positive and being resilient. If you're in a busy section on a Saturday and you know that you're going to have to turn every single table at least 3 times, at least, and you know that that's on you, and then let's say an hour into service you get someone who's been a bit difficult, but you have to have the ability to take it, completely ignore it, smile, and then go to the next table and pretend that nothing's happened. And as cliche as it is, positivity. I think when you have people who come here every day and it is your life, a smile can go a long way. Like a smile, a compliment, a question about someone's day. I think it helps to build a culture of friendship. Does working in a restaurant make you a better customer? Half and half. I'd say completely down the middle. I'd say for myself, because I know the hardship of what it's like to be on the floor, I wouldn't ever give someone like a hard time. You know what it's like to work a 12-hour shift, have 30 minutes to eat something and come back and be consistently slammed with tables. If you've had a crap day and you come and have to be like Mrs. like smiley to everyone, it's bloody difficult. But then I'd say on the other side of it, because it's so rare that I get to go out and have those nice experiences, because most Saturdays of my life I'll be here, if I take a Saturday off and I go to a restaurant that I've looked forward to, I want that vermouth, that one glass that I'm gonna have, to be exactly how I like it, because I don't get to do it a lot. So I feel like the only problem with industry staff going out is that we're very particular and probably have exacting standards. I think there will always be a big going out culture with hospitality, because at the end of a 12-hour shift and you're pumped up, your body just wants to continue. The industry, from a point of view of, we were talking about resilience, but then the flip side is every time that you're not in work, you go out, drink loads of alcohol, do questionable things, stay out until early hours and you get little sleep and then go back in and do another double. Like, if you struggle with your mental health, it's a very difficult industry to work in, I think, because the one thing that people don't consider when it comes to front of house staff compared to the chefs is the mental exhaustion that comes from having to quickly turn your emotions. You have to like turn it on. And I think if you're in sort of a mentally fragile place, it really takes a lot out of you, because then at the end of your shift you get there and you think, well, is it like a face that I now take off? Like, what now? Like, you can feel sort of sapped. The big problem for me with the industry, it was almost seen as if you can never complain. And if you complain and say that I'm struggling, you're seen as you're failing or you're not good at your job. And I think here was the first place where I was sort of allowed to say when I was struggling. Like here, no one criticizes you if you go up to a manager and say, I'm in the shit. But the thing that I've learned is you have to be able to ask for help. Because at first I was so stuck on making sure my standards were high and never asking for help at the worry of appearing like I'm rubbish at my job, then you can just get too far gone in the shit and then you can't turn it around, and then you're getting into the crying in the toilet sort of phase, which you never want to be at. I have come close to walking out of a restaurant job. On one occasion, we were understaffed in a restaurant, criminally understaffed, and it was my third double in a row, and it was a Sunday. And at about 4 o'clock, I had a couple come in and they were pissed. They were so drunk, and this man was just so rude about the food, and he picked it up on his fork and shoved his fork in my face and was like, well, you try it then if you think that's well seasoned enough. And I just had to walk away and stand in like the walk-in fridge and just stare at something for 5 minutes, and that was probably the closest I've been to walking out. And in the end, someone gave me a chocolate bar and that turned me around.